This video is brought to you by the Humble 2K PlayStation Bundle. Get great PS Vita, PS3, and PS4 games such as XCOM Enemy Unknown, Borderlands, Mafia, and more. You choose where your money goes, to Humble, Charity, or us, GameCross. Check out the link in the description box down below. Over the last 4 years, the PS4 has amassed an absolutely stellar lineup of exclusives of different genres, and in this video, we'll be going over the top 10 must-own PS4 exclusives so far. Let's get right into this. Number 10, Infamous Second Son. Infamous was one of the great franchises created on the PlayStation 3. Infamous 1 and 2 were fantastic games, so it only made sense we'd see the series come to the PlayStation 4. And while Infamous Second Son is probably the weakest of the 3 games in the franchise, it's still really good. Visually, it was outstanding, the gameplay was very well designed, some of the content was a bit repetitive, and the story left some to be desired, but for the most part, Infamous Second Son was a really great game, worthy of any PS4 library.
You seem to be getting the hang of your, new symptoms,
right? And of course, the only downside being that, nope, can't think of anything. This is pretty freaking awesome.
Number 9, Gravity Rush 2. Gravity Rush was a great game on the Vita. It had very interesting and unique gameplay, great world design, and an engaging main character. Gravity Rush 2 was built ground up for the PlayStation 4, and it expanded upon a lot of the elements in the first game. More gameplay styles, a bigger world with far more content, better storytelling, I can go on and on. Gravity Rush 2 is a great game, and if you would prefer to play the first one, that game is also available on the PS4 in the form of the Gravity Rush Remastered. Number 8, Nioh. Nioh was in development for a very long time, going back to 2004. It had to jump through a lot of hurdles and went through quite an evolution, but it was finally released back in February. The wait was worth it as it was a fantastic samurai game. Think something like Dark Souls with Onimusha aesthetics. On paper, that sounds awesome, and that's exactly what the game was. The gameplay was great, the difficulty was adequate, and the use of the setting was on point. For fans of the Souls games or action games in general, Nioh is a must-play. Number 7, Yakuza 0. Yakuza has been a franchise that has gotten a bit neglected in the States, but recently Sega has made a push to bring the games over, and Yakuza 0 was a prime example of that. Serving as a prequel to Yakuza, Yakuza 0 is a great entry point for newcomers of the franchise, and it takes the great Yakuza formula and perfects it and refines it. It tells a great story, has an awesome cast of characters, and is filled with content. Yakuza 0 was one of those PS4 exclusives that went a bit under the radar, so if you haven't, definitely check it out. Number 6, Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank is without a doubt one of the most iconic franchises in all of gaming. It made a gigantic mark on the PlayStation 2, had some very good entries with the Future series on PS3. On PS4, we didn't see a brand new game. Rather, we got Ratchet and Clank, a remake of the very first game built ground up for the PlayStation 4. But don't think of this as your typical HD remastering. It's far from that. Just looking at the game, you can see the outstanding visuals, and what's retained is the great gameplay, zany weapons, and humorous story. Newcomers and longtime fans will find a lot to love in Ratchet and Clank.
4 bots.
I'm down in the shelter. Ratchet, this place is a mess. Disassembled weapons and engine parts everywhere. Didn't you tell me you were gonna clean it up last week?
Yeah, sorry about that. Got held up on a project.
Beginner's Guide to Quantum Burst Engines.
Just throw that anywhere. I have it bookmarked.
What's this? Fun with singular...
Number 5, Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy. Gamers have been clamoring for a new Crash Bandicoot game, and while we did get a new one, Crash Bandicoot and Sane Trilogy is about as good as it gets. It's a collection of remasters of the first 3 titles, Crash Bandicoot, Cortex Strikes Back, and Warped. The games look good, their platforming magic and are as charming as ever. It's filled with nostalgia for those that have played games in the past, and for those that haven't, it's a great way to see why so many love the franchise. Number 4, Horizon Zero Dawn. Guerrilla Games has been one of Sony's primary studios. For a long time, they were working on the Killzone games, and that was a very successful franchise. However, they decided to step away from that for now and create Horizon Zero Dawn, an open-world action RPG in a world dominated by mech creatures. It's a very interesting and unique premise, and Guerrilla has set a fantastic foundation for what could be a very successful franchise. The open world was gorgeous, the story was engaging, and the gameplay was solid. Horizon Zero Dawn is a must-own for any PS4 library. Number 3, Bloodborne. Over the last decade, From Software has become one of the top developers in the world. Known for their work on the Souls game, back in 2015, they released Bloodborne, a Souls-like game set in a Gothic Victorian era-inspired world. The world of the game is one of the strongest elements. It's very absorbing, with amazing design and sound direction. Gameplay is very good and satisfying, the difficulty isn't overwhelming, and it plays to perfection, a must-play for anyone. Number 2, Persona 5. Persona has always been an awesome franchise, but for a long time it didn't really receive the commercial reception that it deserved. That seemingly changed with Persona 5, which not only was one of the best games this generation, it's arguably one of the greatest RPGs of all time. The storytelling is phenomenal, the game is loaded with content that's varied and unique, the art and sound direction are great, there's not many things about Persona 5 that aren't absolutely great. Even if JRPGs aren't your cup of tea, I would still recommend to give Persona 5 a shot, that's how good it is.
What's the answer?
Come to me!
What the hell?
Come get some!
We can do this if we all work together. I'd rather that than be bad at every subject.
It's not just Japan anymore. The whole world's waiting to see the Phantom Thieves' next move.
Finally, number 1, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Uncharted has arguably been the most iconic franchise on PlayStation for the last decade. The games feature incredible gameplay with awesome pacing and an excellent and engaging cast of characters. Uncharted 4 takes the franchise to the absolute pinnacle with phenomenal technical achievements, a great and emotional story with the story of Nathan Drake and his long-lost brother Sam. And the gameplay is as great as ever. Not to mention, that's just talking about the single player. There's also an excellent multiplayer mode in there. If you still somehow haven't played the series, you can check out the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection to play the first 3 games, and then for sure check out Uncharted 4: A Thief's End.
Where is the artifact?
Heads up!
I made a promise that I was done with this life.
How long have we been chasing this thing?
Long time.
Real long time. Just you and me. No offense to these guys, but they don't get it.
If you're done lying to me, then you should stop lying to yourself.
The biggest pirate treasure of all time is within our grasp.
Look, Nate, I'm gonna make you a one-time offer. Drop everything. Go home. Live your life. Or we can just end it right here.
There's gotta be another way.
I need you on this one.
So that wraps up the top 10 must-own PS4 exclusives. What do you think? Which of these games were your favorite? Think we missed a game? Comment your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.